Hi, my name is Darcy Cole, and I'm the 4-H Program Coordinator in McLeod County. This video is about how to get parents involved in helping in your 4-H club. There are many reasons I want 4-H parents helping in our clubs. First of all, it supplements your abilities. I know that by no means am I an expert in every area of our program, and by involving others, it allows us to expand what we're able to do. That means providing varied and enriching activities that are wide beyond the scope of things if I were simply doing things myself, and that applies to our 4-H clubs as well. It also gives parents an opportunity to help in something that their child is interested in. We know that parents are much more likely to volunteer for something that their family is actively engaged in, their children have a stake in, and that means 4-H in our case. It also gives parents an opportunity to learn more about our 4-H program, and by doing so, it creates more buy-in to what you're doing as a club. We know that families are much more likely to re-enroll in 4-H in subsequent years if they're fully engaged in our club and care about and have buy-in in our program, and volunteering in your club is one way to enhance that. In short, the reason why you want to have parents volunteering in your club is by having parents help will make a stronger club and you'll be able to be more active. There are many ways to get parents involved in helping in your club. I'm going to give you just a few ideas, but by no means are these all the ways that you can do so. First of all, it's very important that we create a climate in our clubs where parents feel welcome too. We often talk about making sure that members feel welcome, but we tend to forget that parent aspect as well. Some examples of things you could do to do this include maybe having a gathering to help parents get acquainted and explain what the 4-H program is. It also includes extending personal invitations for them to attend club activities and meetings. It may also include greeting parents by name and introducing them to other parents and leaders within your club. It's important to engage parents in goal setting and planning as well. This planning for the year allows parents to volunteer right away at that time to help with things that they have expertise and interest in doing. Asking is a huge piece of getting parents to help. We often think that if we send out a sign up or hand around a sheet that people are going to sign up. I would love to say this is true. However, sometimes it's that personal ask that they need. Some of the ways that we can do this we're going to talk a little bit more about later, but could include using a parent interest form to find out how and what parents are interested in helping in, and it also means asking for specific help for 4-H club activities. It is important that when we do that ask that we can be specific so that families understand what they're actually getting themselves into. Sometimes the scariest part of volunteering is the unknown, not knowing and thinking that they're going to be volunteering in this role forever, even though it may be just a short activity that you want them to help at one club meeting, for example. It's also important to praise and give thanks freely, and that is because everybody likes to be recognized for contributions that they make, and the more often we do that, the more likely it is people will volunteer again in the future. And finally, it's important to engage our members in making that ask. It's a lot harder for someone to turn down a youth when they ask them to do something than it is for them to turn us down as adults when we ask them for their help. Basically, if we inform parents what we need help with and make those personal asks, we're going to be more likely to get parent contribution. It's also important to keep in mind that if we involve parents right away from the beginning of their 4-H career, there's a much better chance for a successful 4-H experience for their family and for our 4-H club. I want to take a few minutes to talk about ways that parents can help in your 4-H club. It's important to note that this is not an exhaustive list, it's just a few ideas to get you started. First of all, they could help host meetings. It is not your job as a club leader to have to do everything and to host everything. If you have parents that are willing to do so, I would encourage you to take them up on that offer. They can also help with project work, whether that's a club project or leading a project workshop within your club or whatever else they can do within that project area. They can also serve on committees. You as a club leader do not need to be the cafe rep. You do not need to be the rep for animal science meetings or all of the other activities that we do within our county program. So ask parents to help you and serve in those committee roles. Parents can also share special talents and skills. There are a lot of things that we don't know that parents are good at without getting to know them a little bit and asking. And once we know, it's a lot easier for us to have them utilize those things within our club. They can also help members get to meetings and events. I wouldn't encourage a ton of ride sharing, but sometimes that's an important piece to be able to actually make sure everybody can be there. They can also help secure other adults to help. They may have connections with other people that we do not and have relationships with them, so they can help to recruit others to help them. Finally, in an ideal world, we would have all parents attending 4-H meetings and events with their children. We know that the parent role is such a crucial aspect of a child's success in 4-H, and besides just having them there, they can serve as informal volunteers as needs arise within our club. The last piece I want to share with you is some ideas of ways that you can find out how parents can help within your club. First of all, it's important to get to know them, and this might mean just making a small effort at your club meetings to connect with them and ask them a few questions so that you can develop a little bit of that personal relationship. A way that we often utilize in 4-H is sign-ups, whether those are an online sign-up or a paper sign-up being handed around. That is another way that can be successful with our volunteers when we're recruiting them. Another great way is that personal ask. It's important that sometimes we just ask someone because they assume that somebody else will step forward and serve in that role. And if we make that personal ask, they're more likely to volunteer and follow through on that commitment. And finally, you can use an interest survey, and there are going to be a couple of different surveys that you can use that will be shared along with this video. I would encourage you that if any of them look of interest to you, to take them to a club meeting, have parents fill it out, and then review that data so you can figure out how you can best utilize parent volunteers within your club. The interest surveys that are shared with you will include things where people can specifically indicate which project areas they're interested in, as well as what type of roles within your club they might be willing to help in, and a place for them to share any other information that might be useful for you as a club leader in figuring out what volunteer role might be a good fit for them. And finally, it will ask them things about when works for them to volunteer. With that, I'd like to close with just stressing again to you the importance of how important it is within your club to utilize parents as volunteers. Not only does it make your job easier as a club leader, but it's going to create a stronger and more active club experience for your members.